Good evening. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Breaking news. Manchester United's second bid, the breakdown has been revealed at 55 million plus 7.5 in a team achievable add-ons for Bryan Mbeumo. It's reported by David Ornstein. The breakdown, the current bid has been rejected, but talks are ongoing. And from a positive standpoint for Manchester United, the player has informed Brentford and Man United again, along with Tottenham Hotspur, that he, and I'm going to read this verbatim, has told Brentford and Tottenham he will only join Manchester United if he leaves this summer. So United have won the race for the player's heart. There is no talk of a hijack or United losing out. Very, very close to the full financial agreement, but the second bid, as of now, has not got over the line. We're taking your opinions. We're taking your calls on this tonight. Some very angry Man United fans suggesting we should walk away. There are others claiming that we're only a few million away. Let's get it over the line. What do you think? What do you feel on this? Leave us your comments below. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. This is a done deal show. Let's do it. Tuning in. It's been not the bomber that Manchester United fans wanted to see this evening, but we're going to go through it. We're going to break it down. We're going to get your views and your opinions on that this evening. Welcome everyone that's tuning in. We're going to get the line, actually, the call in. The link to call in is already in the live chat. So if you want to put yourselves backstage and get ready for that, let us know. But look, we're going to break down this story. We're going to break down this story because it's just broke this evening. And I'm going to read this out to you now. And it says, Bryan Mbeumo has informed Brentford and Tottenham Hotspur of his decision to sign for United if he makes the transfer this summer. Mbeumo is under contract until 2026 with a year extension. The 26-year-old forward has attracted interest from Arsenal, United, Newcastle, and Spurs. This is an opening offer worth 45 million plus 10 in add-ons fell short of Brentford's valuation. The second proposal of 55 million plus 7.5 of bonuses was also rejected, but talks continue as the 20-time English champions attempt to find a compromise. And that, for me, is the positive nature here, is that this isn't... We've seen bids get rejected before, and the kind of response from the journalists is, oh, the bid's been rejected, and talks are broken down, or there's an impasse, or one club's looking to walk away. That isn't what's being reported here. It's very much a case of they're close. So there's a number of other reports that are now coming out tonight suggesting that Manchester United are as little as £2.5 million away from the total valuation. Now, there is some confusion because some people are saying, well, they wanted 60 million base from the beginning. Brentford going to hold out for that. They're massive negotiators. There are others, claims, Fabrizio being one of them, Duncan Castle's another. They wanted 70 million base to begin with. So United have got them down somewhat from there. Do I think Man United are going to pay a 70 million base, as some are suggesting, for this player? No. Is a 70 million base too high? Probably. But how high depends on your valuation for him. For me, if we're dropping around 60 million as a base, I'm relatively comfortable with that. What do I think is going to happen? I think we'll either increase the add-ons by 2.5 million or the bid by 2.5 million, and or make the bonuses more achievable, more about the player's performance rather than the team's achievements. So Brentford feel that it's attainable. I'm not going to steal KJ's thunder on that, but he put that thought in my idea. So the deal is really, really close. The positive thing here, and I think there is a little bit of a message from David Ornstein in relation to this deal, And that is very much, he doesn't lead with the rejected bid. He doesn't lead with anything negative. The lead, and you look at his tweet, which is Bryan Mbeumo was told Brentford and Tottenham that he will only join Manchester United if he leaves. For me personally, that is big and that is significant because it's putting a message out there that the player only wants Man United. You've got nothing to fear about losing out on him. I have also a sneaky feeling and a suspicion this will be closed over the weekend, if not early in the week, because it doesn't feel like there's much more to discuss now. You may even find that the information from Ornstein is a few days old because what he typically does is he brings in his information, he checks his sources, he writes an article. He doesn't normally tweet until he writes an article. And it's not the biggest article in the world, but they still take time to write. They still take time to put together. It isn't the same as some transfer experts that just tweet because all you got to do is write a tweet, right? So it does feel very close. I haven't seen any updates yet from Ben Jacob. I don't know if he's tweeted anything out since. He's still got his pinned tweet from 2 days ago. In fact, 3 days ago, where he said that Manchester United have now improved their offer to over 60 million in totality. So the fact that Ornstein's reporting on this now, it shows one of two things. It almost certainly proves that the information of the bid by Man United's old. So the likelihood is that we've worked on it since that point. Secondly, I think that it shows what he said, the closeness of this deal. And it could even be one of those situations with Ornstein where we get another tweet and another article very, very quickly afterwards that we've seen with other players in the past. I wouldn't walk away. Yes, you'll get, and I'm seeing it in the comments, rejected FC, rejected. I don't care that we've been rejected by a club for a bid. Most of it. Look how many times Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen went at it to get that deal done. It doesn't really matter. The only rejection I would care about is from the player, because that means you are not getting him. Do I think United should walk away? No. Do I think this is United tax? No. I believe we're still getting him for in and around his valuation. And will they get the add-ons? Potentially, but they're only going to get those add-ons if Manchester United achieve good things. I want to say hello to the United Stand community that are joining us here as well. We're taking calls tonight. We're talking about this bid. What should Manchester United do? Let us know in the comment section below. Let us know. Give us your opinions on this story. We have another super chat here that says, hey, T, they want a base close to what we paid for Cunha of 62.5 plus add-ons. We're slacking, offered 55 plus 75 in add-ons. Let's just pay up and build properly for the season. We badly need quality. I don't think we're slacking, personally. And the reason why I say I don't think we're slacking is pre-season doesn't start for another couple of weeks. I'm all for trying to shave money off these deals, especially as the player has again reiterated, I'm joining no one else. We're at no risk of losing the player. And I know some say, just look, listen, if we're a couple of million behind now, we may have already upped that bid. But I do concur with the process of trying to always get people cheaper than the asking price. I like that. Where I will agree with you, though, my friend, is this should not be protruding, in my view, into that preseason period. It's very important that we have Mbeumo, Cunha, and hopefully at least one more player as we go into preseason. I think that is absolutely imperative. It really, really is. But as I've stated all along, I don't think this is United tax per se. The value, as always, listen, it depends what articles you read. I've read anywhere between 60 and 70 million pounds for the player. We are in that ballpark. Don't get suckered in by rivals that are going to say you're massively overpaying, because as I just found out in my group chat, they then won't tell you how good or bad they think the player will even do. So it's all folly in many, many ways. This here says, it seems, sorry, I just lost the comment. It seems that the 62.5 million is now agreed. It just seems to be how much they will actually pay and how much the add-ons will be. Well, this is it. I mean, we may find that they're happy with 55 plus 7.5. Maybe what's been rejected is the structure at this particular moment. Maybe it's how easy or attainable the add-ons are. So maybe the add-ons were he's got to score 50 goals in his first 3 seasons, and United have got to get back in the Champions League twice. And they say too unachievable. And United go back and say, okay, well, we've changed it. It's 30 league goals in his first 3 seasons and qualify for the Champions League once in those first 3, and you get the extra 7.5 million. And Brentford go, bid now accepted. I think we're at a point where it is very, very close in that regard. I don't think we're far away. I don't think this is a million miles away from happening, personally. And I was listening to Mark's, I didn't listen to all of it, but I listened to some of Mark's stream because I had to set my own up. I would not be walking away at this point. I agree with him 100% from a deal that we've worked on for months, where a player who is of high quality, he's Premier League proven, he moves the needle. For the sake of a couple of millions, £1 million, I wouldn't be walking away at this point. Who is attainable for a similar price, if not more, that doesn't want to join somebody else ahead of us? For someone will say, Eze. Got a big video dropping, by the way, on Terry Fluer's TV later about Eze. Massive news that's come out tonight. I think he wants the likes of Arsenal ahead of us. It would be a crazy notion. We've got the player. Let's get it done. Teams are starting to appreciate base bonuses nowadays. That's why you can't pretty much guarantee they will get paid. I understand you on that. We'll sell the freedom fighters for 80 million for the lot. You definitely copy in United model for everything. Whoop, you get a view you need, man. You're copying United. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. It's 55 million with fairy tale add-ons. That's just been rejected. Just give 60 million with no add-ons and they'll accept. It's not hard. Yeah, and I understand that, Ben. And let's say you're right. The thing is, we're getting the news often delayed. We're often getting the news 2 or 3 days after it's happened. And that's just what's been given to Ornstein. You might be, if you were in a room now with Wilcott and you went, listen, why don't you just offer this? And he'll go, yeah, we already have done. We're just waiting now to get a response. So, yeah, it's not something I'd be panicking about. It isn't something I'm angry about. It isn't something that I think United fans should be losing their minds over personally. I think we should just stay relaxed at this point with the Mbeumo deal. The most important part, before I go to these phone calls, the most important part of this article for me was the opening line. And I'll read it again. Bryan Mbeumo has told Brentford and Tottenham that he will only join Manchester United. That's the most difficult part. We are almost there with the negotiations with the club. If we get the here we go tonight, brilliant. But you're still not going to see him in training for a couple of weeks. It doesn't impact the football. I know it gives us a dopamine release. I know it makes us relaxed. But I am relaxed because he's rejected Tottenham again. Listen, Tottenham are actually denying now they made any bid. Didn't I tell you they'd say that? Do you remember that stream? Were you guys watching the Football Terrace the day when I was getting dogs abuse from Lawless and Staffy and Don? We now got new nicknames for them. We call them Clueless, Waffy, and Don Skeeto is his name because someone said he's like a mosquito. He's annoying. Don Skeeto, Waffy, and Clueless. And I said on that stream, go back and watch it straight back 2 weeks ago Friday. My exact words were, I guarantee you when they get rejected again, the big journalist will do the PR for Tottenham saying there was never any bid. I always knew Tottenham, but it's really funny. Ornstein doesn't say they didn't bid. He said Spurs deny they put a bid in. I think they may have gone back in, like I said all along, but they've had a double dip rejection, which is great. I'm relaxed. I want the deal done, but the player's head hasn't been turned. We're at no risk of losing him, and there isn't a single suggestion that we're going to walk away. Frankly, this is scandalous, Terry. Held to ransom for $3 million. But the terrible truth is that we can do well enough with 2 number 10s, spending the rest on a goalkeeper and maybe a new central midfielder. The thing is, Lawrence, this isn't all of our money that we're going to raise over the course of the summer. So I do think we need it. We're still going to go. As soon as we finish here, we're going straight on to look at a striker. We've already done a lot of groundwork on goalkeepers. Let's get this deal over the line. He's a needle mover. For me, it's not scandalous at all, in my personal view, but we are desperate as fans. I think by and large, Man United fans are angry. I think we're desperate. We want to see the club move forward. We want these deals over the line early. I get all of that, but it's so close. There's no need to walk away. in my humble opinion. But listen, that's why we're here, to give you guys the opportunity to have your say, to give us your views and to give us your opinions. A super chat here that's come in from Adel. They've done this thing on now on YouTube where it's not your usernames, we get your @names now, so the usernames have all changed. It says we paid 60 million plus for a broken mount who never fit and flopped. Outrageous. Now a quality player is available and we might miss out on preseason. Pathetic. There's no talk of missing out on preseason. So again, I would be saying what you are if the news that just dropped was that they're at an impasse. United are thinking of walking away. There's no sign of him arriving imminently. If that was a report, I'd be on your side. Equally, I am not going to blame Barada and Ineos signing Mount. Nothing to do with them. You're right. We shouldn't have paid what we did for Mount. We should have tried. If we wanted him, we should have got him for a fairer price or a better price or walked away. To do that, you have to negotiate like this. So I don't think we should be muddying the water saying, well, we did this and got Mount, not the people currently running the club. If they end up doing a bad job for this manager this summer, late signings, bad signings, and overspending, I, along with you, Adel, will condemn. But I can't have a go at the owners for trying to get players cheaper, which we moan they didn't do with Mount. I can't have a go at them for that. For me, that would be hypocritical. Equally, there's no sign he won't be here for pre-season yet. If he isn't, I'll come out and condemn it with you, my friend. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm absolutely sure that this article does not say he's going to miss pre-season. Like, this is where I think we've got to be... You might be fearful of it, but we can't sit here and go, oh, he's missing pre-season. Why? I'm pretending that he said it in an article. Or why would I do that? Why would I do that? It'd be crazy. Well, I don't get it. But Ben Jacobs said the medical is next week. I mean, that's the irony in this, right? This is the irony. It's been reported by some decent and credible journalists that the medical's booked in for next week. But what you want me to run with is he might miss preseason. I can't do it. When the story hits that he might miss preseason, I'll say it. Until then, I can't make it up. I already get enough accused of being a clickbaiter. Imagine I start making stories up, pretending they're in newspapers. Terry, are we shit or bust right now? What are you talking about? In what regard? No, this isn't signing Mbeumo now, today, or the whole season falls apart. No. What are we doing here? Terry, I can't lie here. If 70 million is the base fee here that Brentford want, I reckon Villa sell Rodgers for that. I'd try and get Rodgers instead. Just saying. But that's a fair opinion. If you think there is better value out there and we could land the player, where you need to be really careful. And I like Rodgers. If we pivoted now and got Rodgers, I wouldn't cry. I'd be very happy as well. The issue that you have if we walked away and said, no, Mbeumo, we're walking away, you've then got to go on the charm offensive. You've got Chelsea and Arsenal chasing Rodgers. And I know that we beat Arsenal to Mbeumo, but that was Mbeumo being offered a backup position to Saka. Do I see us beating both Chelsea and Arsenal to Rodgers? No, I personally don't. That's not like competing with Spurs for players. The same with Eze. Do I see us beating Arsenal to his signature? Right now, I don't. So a bird in the hand could be worth two in the bush in this regard. However, if we did pivot from him and we end up with Eze, thing is, I don't know if Eze would work because he's more of a left, plays more on the left, and that's where Cunha's going to go. But let's say we did pivot. I won't cry about it. But I don't personally see us doing that, my friend. Rodgers, no chance. Let's get that out of our minds, is what a few of your comments are saying here. Some of you guys make me laugh. Right, we're going to start bringing calls out. KJ's joining me. We've got Baz coming on. We've got Lou coming on. We've got Paul backstage. We're going to get them on to have their say with us. Don't worry, Terry. People with at least half a brain are with you. Keep up the good work. Welsh for life. Look, I appreciate what you're saying. People are entitled to their opinions, though, and we won't ever, unless they're being nasty or horrible or spreading lies, we won't stop them from expressing them. But What I will say is that we still need to get at least 2 more players in before pre-season. I'm still sticking to that standard. Random question: did you ever use a saying about someone being dumb and asking for brains when God was handing them out? I mean, yeah. I mean, when we were kids, we'd tell that joke. Like when God was handing out brains, you thought it was milkshakes and asked for an extra thick one. Or when God was giving out brains, you thought he was giving out trains and you asked for a slow moving one. I think we used to tell jokes like that at school. Random, yeah. Not really as adults. I mean, most adults don't go around saying that. Yeah, but yeah, that was a joke. There were jokes at school. All right, KJ's coming on with me now. We are taking your calls. The link is pinned into our live chat if you want to have your say on these matters. KJ, second bid officially done by Ornstein as rejected, but it does appear the deal's really close. What's your thoughts on this situation and the resolution for it?
Yeah, so obviously it's frustrating that that Brentford have rejected that bid. Yeah, the reports were all saying Man United will not bid again and officially until they know for a fact that they will get it accepted and we can move on quickly with the player, and that's not happened. So yeah, it's annoying, it's frustrating. It's the same price as Cunha, which Brentford have been stating through press and different things, saying that they want that kind of money. We've offered that kind of money, and they're still saying no. I don't think the deal is dead. I don't think the deal is never going to be complete. I believe that if Man United up it to 65 all in, so maybe 60 base, 5 million add-ons, or whatever it is, maybe they do 55 plus 10, or maybe they do 58 plus 7 or something. Whatever they do, I believe there will be a resolution of around 2.5 million extra on top in whatever form, and I think the deal gets done. So I'm not worried about the deal as a whole not getting done. What I want to say is, though, as Man United as a club, say if Brentford rejects 65 million, that is where I would personally say we need to walk away. And it's not because I don't think Mbeumo is a good player. I think he's a very good player. I'll be very excited to have him in this team. I want him in this team. But Man United for years in the transfer market have been taken for a ride. We've had our pants pulled down. We have been a laughing stock. We've been considered as a jokers and unserious. And people look at us with this kind of view in the transfer market and in negotiations and in boardrooms. So at some point, we need to try and change that. And to do that, sometimes we're going to have to take hits. And if Brentford are saying no, 70 million only, and that's it, then Man United, we need to show that we are trying to move in the right direction. We need to show that, Man United have got some kind of plan, got some kind of direction, and actually want to stick to that instead of bending and bowing to every team just because we want to play and we're in the desperate spot. No, we can't be doing that. We should be walking away if it's over 65, and then we need to pivot. Because if you look at the positions we got, look at Mbeumo, where's he going to play? He's going to play the right side of the 10, so right 10. We have got Bruno, Ahmad, Xerxes, Mount, Mainu. That's 5 players there you could all arguably say could fit that role well. So really and truly, do we need Mbeumo for the position? No. What we need is Mbeumo's goals and his pace and his athleticism and his tech and his technique. That's what we need Mbeumo for. But for that position alone, we don't need him for that. So we can pivot. We should pivot if that's the case. Go get that wing back so Ahmad can play further up. Go get that midfielder so we can actually have someone next to Bruno in the midfield that can clean up and actually control the football. Go take that 65 million and whack it on Gyökeres and actually say to Gyökeres, yo, look, we're not playing any games. We're not like Arsenal doing will I, won't I? I've got 2 options. I want to play you guys to the end. Go see if that turns his head. Man United need to start making these kind of decisions if we are not getting the players for the price that we want him at. I think 65 million is a fair maximum price for Mbeumo. Excellent player, 20 goals in the league. You can't argue with anything. You can't argue with that, right? You can't argue with that. So yeah, that's where my stance is. Man United, be strong. Stick to your valuation. Try one more time. 3rd time's the charm is the saying. Try one more time. And if you can't get the agreement done, show that you're not weak. Show that you're willing to walk away move on to another 10 target or pivot to a different position and move forward, because we can't go on like this. Because if we keep this caving and caving, it doesn't matter what any of us have said about the past, they'll just be repeating it. So I'm very intrigued to see how it goes. I do believe it'll get done. And I do believe it'll be around £65 million. Where how it's going to be divvied up with add-ons and base, I don't know. But that is how I feel this will go. And I'll be happy with that. I'll be okay with that.
Look, I hear a lot of what you're saying. There's some breaking news from the Times. And Paul Hurst has put this out saying Brentford want a large proportion of Bryan Mbeumo's deal up front. And these are all the little peccadillos that one could feed into walking away, like you've said, or two, slight adjustments. So you might find that 55 plus 7.5 is enough if we pay 25 million up front rather than 15 million, as an example. And I think that these are the little intricate details which I actually quite enjoy it. I love the transfer stuff. Maybe it's my background in sales. However, fans get frustrated, but equally, you can't demand updates every day and then get annoyed at the minuscule updates, because we used to just wait for the clubs to announce it. And that's it. If we just waited for clubs, we'd all just be chilling all summer, not thinking about transfers. And then you go, oh, the deal's done. Oh, that was quick. Because you wouldn't be like everything, isn't it? You know, like you put your microwave on for 5 minutes or toast in the toaster. It takes a lot longer when you watch it than if you walk away and do other things. So I sometimes think the constant staring makes everything feel a bit longer.
Yeah, like obviously this summer we've both committed to not staring at the timeline waiting for news, and things happen better. Like I was at the gym. That's twice now, and Burma news has dropped when I'm at the gym. You know what I mean? So it just shows life moves on. If you just live life, news will come. But what I want to say is about that new update as well is that Man United being bad on the pitch is another reason why we're in this situation. I mentioned to you earlier, so I'll say again for the viewers. It's not just the fact that we've had Glazers and the Woodward running things and they've paid ridiculous amount of money for different players. It's also the fact that we're bad and inconsistent, and at any moment we could drop off a cliff. So Brentford, they're going to want a lot of the money up front and a lot of the money in the base fee, because if they look at the add-ons, look at the 55 plus 725. If that was Liverpool, I reckon they accept that, because they would look at Liverpool as a club and the add-ons be, okay, if you win the Premier League, we get 2 million. If the player scores, if the club does back-to-back, wins 2 trophies, we get this amount of money. So they will see the team trophies, team add-ons as something achievable. So they'll probably get their 62.5 million. But with Man United, they look at us and like, wait, so you want us to wait until you get top 4 for us to get, I don't know, 2.5 million extra on a deal? We have to wait for you to win a trophy to get X amount, win the Premier League to X amount. We can't promise that. You know, and so Brentford are going to want guaranteed money where they can. And also the Cunha deal. We tried to do it over 5 years, couldn't get it over 5 years. We have to pay 62.5 million over 3. They are going to probably want something similar. They want a good amount of money up front. They want a good amount of money quickly. And obviously that's their prerogative. But this is where Man United, this is where we get challenged now. How do we deal with these situations?
Yep. Now, listen, I totally get where you're coming from. And I think that all these things have to be considered. But viewers, we want to hear from you. We're taking some calls now. First up with us is Baz. What are you saying, Baz?
Hey, guys. So, I'm not too like crazy about it right now. I think that you guys made some great points. Basically, you know, our whole fan base has PTSD, right? Like we really, after this 10, 12 years of nonsense, every time news comes out, we overreact to it. I find there's kind of a double standard where people are getting mad because we pay too much for players, but then if we try to pay less for players, they get mad as well because they want them right now. And that's the problem right now. And exactly, I think KJ hit the point on the head there, is that, you know, until we start getting better, until we have a little more aura, a little more prestige again, we're not going to get the best deals in the transfer market like Liverpool has been doing, for instance, right? And it's not going to be as smooth as we want it, but we have to continue this process, because if we don't continue this process, we're going to have a reputation of a team that can be taken in in the transfer market, right? And I mean, just think about it. If you were going to buy a car and there was a car dealership that you can get a good deal from, and then there's another car dealership that has a very stingent and shrewd negotiators, you're probably going to go to the other car dealership that's going to be an easier deal for you, right? So, I mean, it's the same type of thing. And the other thing that's really important to think about here is that we need cash, right? So people say, oh, 2.5 million, 5 million. Once you add it up on 3 or 4 or 5 players that we get, that's like an extra player at the end of that. And I know that we take we do it and amortize it over 3, 4, or 5 years, but the cash we have in the bank right now is going to help us get other deals. And one other thing I want to say is that we can't just we're getting these as our marquee players. We're going to have to get value somewhere else in the market. So we need to have money in the bank to get deals done. That's where I'm at with this.
Yeah, listen, I think you make a lot of great points there, Baz, as ever. I want to thank you for all you do for the channel, your memberships and everything else, mate. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Baz. Thank you. Also, we've got Lou joining us now. Lou's a United fan. How are you, Lou? You've got your mic muted.
I was basically just telling him not very happy. So I'm so mad I forgot where the mic was.
Why are you mad, Lou?
Because it's ridiculous, Terry. You're like so level-headed. You're like, hey, I'm doing this channel. I'm like so neutral. And I'm like, no, hurry up. What are they doing? They're wrecking the game. I'm like, right. Actually, I agree with most of what KJ said, actually. So he's completely stolen my thunder. He's taken all of my points. So next time I actually need to go on before KJ, okay? Yeah. But no. Also, and I wanted to say this to you earlier, but I was in the shop, so I couldn't go on the call. So I was like, later, I'm going to get him later because there's definitely going to be news. I, as a fan, am going to react one way. I don't expect the club to react the same way as I do as a fan. So I am going to be petulant. I am going to be moody. I'm going to be completely immature and throw my toys out of the pram. With Gyökeres, I don't want him anymore if Arsenal's his first choice. Fuck him. Why, if Arsenal's his first choice, let them have him. And if they don't want him, let him just go to the desert. I don't care. But I don't expect the club to react like that. You know what I mean? With Mbeumo, I'm like, walk away. Walk away. Brentford are taking absolute pizzazz. Just tell them to get lost as well. They can get lost with Gyökeres. But I don't expect the club to react like that. If the club is reacting how I'm reacting, I'm going to start getting really worried, more worried than I have been for the last 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes you're so level-headed because you have to be because of your job. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe you're just like that in life, but you have to be on the channel because you try as much as you can to be neutral. And sometimes maybe that feeds your opinions, like when you're talking about United, really funny, because it's a habit.
Sorry to interject. That's really funny. People don't realize sometimes there is a difference between me giving an opinion and playing host. Yeah. And it's the toaster people don't understand it. The same as I did a video yesterday, which was about Eze, and it was a pure opinion piece. And I had a message from someone, 2 messages in the space of an hour going, "Brother, I love your new thumbnails." I went, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I love the foreshadowing." And I'm like, someone gets it. It's like, this is bad for us if it happens. The thumbnail's a prelude to it. Somebody else is like, "Why are you lying on the thumbnail?" It's like, oh, you didn't get it. So thank you for understanding that when I'm being the host, I do get the petulant and the immature nature of it, but I'm trying to host a show, and my job, and some people think this is being fake. They're entitled to that. My job is to harvest opinions, and it's hard if all I'm doing is picking out the opinions that match how I feel as a fan. So yeah, thank you for saying that, but back to you. Sorry.
That's all right. I'll take compliments all night long. Harry, you keep going if you like. But yeah, look, it's very, very frustrating. I understand the people who are like, just pay the bloody money, get it over the line, move on to the next deal. But also from my point of view, I'm like, I completely agree with KJ. We can't say that we want to change our habits. We want to change how we're perceived. We want to change overpaying. We want to change how other teams treat us when we're negotiating if we just do what other teams want when we're negotiating. And at some point, you are going to miss out on targets because you have to just turn around and say, you know what? No, like this is our offer. Either you accept it or we will walk away. And that's it. Like Brentford are saying, this is our final price. Pay it or we're walking away. Why can't United say, well, this is our final offer, take it or we're walking away, and you're left with a player that doesn't want to go anywhere else and doesn't want to stay with you? So I can see both sides of the coin. For me to undo years of damage, it's going to take years of work and years of saying, no, actually, this is different. We've changed. We're not going to keep doing that. And at some point, there's going to have to be a first deal that you walk away from. Maybe this is it. Or maybe Brentford go, oh, they're actually serious. They're really going to walk away. Maybe we should make this sale. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's hard.
No, it is hard. And as you say, I get the feeling that fans have of let's just get it done. Let's get it over the line. We need this player, and we do. And I think he's very good. I like what he's about. I think he'll help to move the needle. At the same time, there is and I've seen it all summer, and maybe I have got to learn to maybe not react in the same way, but I get this. I want us to act like Liverpool just did. So yeah, Liverpool are able to behave like that because of the consistency of their approach in transfer windows. So I'm back in the gym now. I'm trying to get back in shape. I keep having problems though, major problems of drinking too much wine and loving life too much and being a foodie. But the point is, I'm in the gym, and I was in there tonight, right? I went gym and then I had a little swim, and I came home, and then this news had broke. And I was watching this group. I wouldn't say they were young. They're probably late 20s, early 30s. Couple of ladies, about 3 or 4 guys, and they're smashing it out in the corner. And I'm watching, and a part of me's going, I fucking would have killed them in the gym 10 years ago when I was fully. I'd be able to. They were doing like circuit training. I'd have smashed them. But then I'm also sitting there and I'm like, yeah, but I'm not that person anymore. The only way I get back to it is by consistent work. I can't go from where I am now to doing that circuit training with them at that level like this. And I think business works in a very similar way as well. But I also get the fan element. We want the deal done. And there's loads of reasons. One, we want to feel more relaxed. 2, let's be honest. Some of it is you want to be able to go, and rub it in everybody else's faces. Look what we just got. And there's and football fans have always done that. And I don't think we'll change. So I do get it. But Lou, amazing call. Brilliant breakdown. And we'll chat again soon.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.
See you later. Take care, Lou. Next on the show, Adel is with us, and not rolling with the deep Adel, our lad, you know. But Adel, what you saying? How are you, mate?
How are you, T?
I'm very, very good, my friend. I saw by your super chats earlier, you weren't best pleased with what's going on. Break it down for us, mate.
So, I fear that we are probably going to take a lot of time in integrating Mbeumo because, as Mark said in his show earlier, I think a couple of days ago, we are going to take our time doing this, and we've wasted the entirety of June doing this deal, and still, I think it's the 27th today, and we have not reached anything yet, right? I am pretty sure that we are going to get Mbeumo done, right? But I'm really afraid that we're going to be losing him on the preseason tour. Also, when are we going to start talking with a proper striker? Because we said this a couple of days ago, you and I, in one of those calls. Mbeumo, Højlund and Onana, they cost us 20-some points last season. When are we going to get a striker deal done, let alone a midfielder and a goalkeeper, right? We are taking so much time in doing the deals and getting them on the way. So it's pretty much frustrating, if you know what I mean.
Go on, KJ. Go on, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I hear where you're coming from, and it's one of those things where, as a fellow United fan, I feel that frustration of wanting to get players into the club as quick as possible. But if we signed Mbeumo last week or the week before, we still have to wait to raise funds to buy a striker anyway. So it's not like we get this done and boom, the striker comes in the 2 weeks later. We still got things to do, and unfortunately for us, the players that we're trying to sell are not making it easy for us. Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho are not making it easy for us to sell them because they want their money, they want to play for certain clubs, and those clubs are just not coming in for them seriously. So we are always going to have to wait for this third attacker to come in. So in terms of, we're not moving for a striker, we're not doing this. Well, we've seen us linked with Gyökeres, we've seen us linked with Ekitike and Mateta and all these different players. So we are doing something. But there's only so much we could do. We can't execute as quick as we want to because we've got freeloaders just we've got to get rid of, and they're taking their time too. So I get where you're coming from, but in terms of the third attacker, like Yes, and Mbeumo could have been done at the 1st of June. We
Exactly.
still might be in this situation.
Exactly. My point is, with the point of selling players, I would say that Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, and the whole lot of the other guys, they need to know they're not that good, right? They're like Mark again has said it. I think today earlier. Jadon Sancho's the entirety of his career is, or the highlights of his career are just transfer moves, right? He's not that good to command. I don't know how much he's on, 200,000 to 300,000 per week. He's not that good. Neither is Marcus Rashford.
But you are right that they haven't been good enough for United to command it. The problem is they have binding contracts that were granted by a different leadership group. And the issue that we have, again, this is to Lou's point. I get the feeling I'm annoyed at it. But if I put my level-headed brain on, if they were on 50 grand a week, Garnacho will be easier to move on. I also think when some of these sales will start to click into gear once we get into next year, because we definitely want that for PSR issues. Because Garnacho, if we want to force him out, he's only on 50 grand a week. It's a lot easier. But what I mean is it's easier to force out Garnacho on 50 grand a week, because if he refuses things, you can stick him in the stat. You can afford to swallow that. What we can't afford to do is stick 3 players on combined salaries of £800,000 a week in the reserves, because we need to remove that some of, if not all of that wage bill to invest in new players. And that's why they have the power still. And that's also why I advocate for us trying to sign players on less wages. I'm advocating for us signing players cheaper and saving everywhere we can, because these legacy problems all stem from overspending and overcommitting to transfers into players who rule the roost. And we want to eradicate player power. It was never going to be as easy as just coming in, writing some rules on a flip chart and saying everyone's got to abide by them. These players know the position of power they're in. I'm disappointed in Sancho to a certain degree, if the stories are true, that he's got all these opportunities at really good Italian teams, and it's like, no, I need more money. The reason why I'm saying that is I know it's 1 year's worth of money, but in a year's time, if he gets a bad move this summer, he might be on even less than the Italian clubs are offering him in a year's time. And for the extra 5 million he might earn this year, he might end up earning 10, 20 million pounds less for the rest of his career. I just want him to get the right advice. So, but it's true. And the other things that, listen, Adel, I get your frustrations, though, mate. And I'd love to see this deal done in the next few days. Thank you for the support you've given this channel since you've been coming on cross, mate. It means a lot to us. Thank you, bro.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Top man. Thank you. Paul is on the show now. What are you saying, Paul?
Well, big up to you, KJ. You have a good point saying about that. Good points.
Thank you.
We need to stop overpaying, but we need to get the pay done so fast. Get it done, pay for it. Pay the money and get it done.
You just want to pay. What's the maximum you would go to, mate?
65, and that's it. No more.
As in 65 guaranteed, or including add-ons?
Including add-ons.
Yeah.
Say about that we did for Cunha. A bit of fund that we did for Cunha. Pay a bit of fund more. Get sweeten the deal up.
Yeah,
and get rid of Sancho. Sancho's a greedy player. Greedy man. Get him out.
Yeah, look, I get it from a United fan. That's how we're looking at greedy. I suppose he's looking at it as I want to get paid what I was promised. But I think where he's got to be careful is just he doesn't want to end up with, if he gets a bad loan move or a year of not playing for. I mean, look, big clubs will still probably come in for him in a year's time, and maybe on a free transfer he'll get a big whack of that. So maybe you won't be out of pocket. But I do hear you there, Paul. You got up to 65 million. Are you excited about the prospect of Mbeumo?
Yep, he's a good player. Great player. Put more fund. He's got goals better than Rasmus Højlund. I have to give it. He's better than Rasmus.
Yeah, that's not hard, is it? Listen, Paul, thank you, mate, for coming on. I appreciate it, buddy.
No, brother. Thanks, Terry. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Dan is on with us now. What are you saying, Dan?
Hey.
Hello, mate.
Well, about the transfer. Yep.
Okay, your chances are fair enough.
Yeah. Regarding like the stuff with Mbeumo, initially I was thinking like, why are Brentford really holding on to this since like he like literally wants to like leave the club and everything. But also wanted to kind of explain the whole like how sales kind of take longer. It kind of like made a bit more sense. I think we're too used to like transfers like happening fast with the whole social media and everything. And in the previous days, it's just like took time to like happen. But I think United have the advantage here since the player himself is saying that he doesn't even want to stay at Brentford and wants to come over. So
yeah, look, I get that, and look, some transfers happen fast. For instance, Arsenal are making the move for that Mosquera. Now, I never even heard of him. Some people have, some people haven't. That's a quick deal. It turns out Arsenal started the conversations in the beginning of May. It's just no one picked up on it, and journalists will do this. They will go to agents and clubs and go, "Oh, tell us about." They ask for information on the rumors that already exist, or what fans are asking for. So that deal has been going on just as long. It's just none of us knew about it, as an example. So for me, we do get frustrated, but that's because the irony in being frustrated, though, is it's born out of what we demand. We want minute by minute, day by day, week by week updates on deals. So they feel like they're dragging on. They've always taken this sort of time. It's just we never heard the breakdown on it. But no, I agree with you. I think Mbeumo, I think is a player United need. Do you think he'll be a hit at Manchester United? Let's say he comes in for say 65 million all in. Do you think that's good value for money for Manchester United?
I feel like his first season he might need to like maybe adapt to the standards in the sense that there's more pressure in Manchester United compared to like Brentford, where he can exceed expectations, and even if he doesn't like reach something like a 20-goal season or like roughly around 10, it would be considered good. By United, they'll kind of expect him to reach more, given you guys' current situation with Højlund. They would really want that kind of striker that elevates them. So I feel he might struggle a bit in his first season, but we'll see. He also has that Premier League experience, so that might.
It could do it, mate. Listen, I appreciate you coming on, Dan, and speaking to us tonight. Thank you, mate.
No problem.
Cheers. Thank you very much indeed. I can't think he was going to put that T-shirt on. I didn't know it was.
Well, it's hot, man. I saw the fan in the top as well. Go ahead,
bro. I tell you, I went gym, come back, had a little swim, and I was like, I was gonna cook myself a little steak on the barbecue. And I thought I'd just check my phone, and then I saw like my Instagram. I saw that Ornstein had updated, and it wouldn't load on my phone. So I thought I'll go check Twitter. And I was like, oh shit, it's a United update. I was like, oh, that's fun. There we go. Yeah, I've this whole summer though, I'm just not watching my phone. When I go to my phone, if something's happened, I'll go live. If not, then I don't. It's honestly, it's therapeutic. This feels like the Zaha situation again. I don't know what that means.
In terms of Man United buying Zaha from Palace in 2013, or when Zaha at Palace just wouldn't get a move for ages and ended up going to Galatasaray free. You talking about Sancho? Like just not taking big moves, getting a big offer, and then leaving on a free to some next obscure team. Because that's the only thing with Sancho. Like I said, I'm disappointed. Like I like Sancho as a player, and as a personality, from what I've seen him with, he doesn't seem like a bad person. You know what I mean? So I'm not gunning for him on a personal level. But as a fan, there is a bit of disappointment in me, because it's kind of like, bro, like you've got the talent. Yes, it hasn't worked out at Man United for many reasons, but you're a Chelsea fan and you've denied staying at your boyhood club because of what, 50k a week potentially. You've been to Dortmund and you've done really well there. That's the reason why you're in this position in the first place. And you've got other teams around Europe who are saying, "No, we want to revitalize that," and you're not taking that because of what? You're gonna get 100k instead of 250. Now I understand, because a lot of people are like, well, if you was in your job and you got offered and you've got 50k a year, and then someone tells you to move and you got 35k a year, you're not going to take the 35k, you're not going to downgrade, which I understand in a normal aspect. But we're talking about levels of money here that that is really high. You know what I mean? Like there are ways for them to make money outside of football
Yeah.
to get return. And also, I just
Yeah.
want to finish this point.
Sorry.
The footballing workplace is completely different in many aspects to a normal workplace. I think you can compare them at times, but Terry, our job is watched, but not watched by so many people. Like if someone down at Tesco is working, they're not going to get headhunted by Asda. You know what I mean? So their career is not determined on them performing in front of people.
Well, I mean, if someone's an area director or a managing director, they do. So again, it's the levels of it. Again, I don't mean this horribly. Someone working on the burger stall inside the ground, it probably isn't going to get headhunted by another local club. But the more serious people do. Where I would defend Sancho, though, and I was thinking about this after I said it, there is the other side of the coin where maybe his management think, well, if you leave on a free, you'll earn even more money, because typically the transfer fee that's saved gets pumped into signing on fees and into the wages. So there may be a view for Sancho of, well, I'm just going to run this last year down. I'm going to get my money anyway. Then I'll get my move. I just hope that the move, I do genuinely mean this, because I've had my moments where I've been very angry at him, but that's just been my anger. Like Lou said, it was my anger as a fan. And I think all fans, even grown-ups, can be immature in that moment. I just hope that it's a move to a club that doesn't just give him the money that he wants. I hope it sort of quenches his footballing first. And I just feel that you've got Juve, you've got the defending champions, Napoli, Fenerbahce, big team, always in and around title races, Chelsea, all looking at you. I just hope in a year's time, it isn't, I'm getting the money now, I'm going Saudi. I'm getting the money now, I'm going to play in this league. And then 6 months later, he's like, he's going to go out on loan to this club. And it doesn't quite, I know he'll get his money, but I still think there's a lot of good football to come from this man. I still think he can win major trophies.
Oh, he can bring it back
on this continent. Do you know what I mean? These super chats here. First one says, but KJ, how he is as a person doesn't matter. It's is the footballing pitch outputs that matter. Don't you agree?
Yeah, but the reason why I said what I said is because people take it personal. You know, people take the football pitch matters and turn it into a thing about the player as a person. So yeah, like how he is as a person, I think does slightly matter, because obviously you don't want your players being like, you know, Greenwood. You know what I mean? You don't want them to be like that. So it matters slightly. But yeah, like I just think football fans have a tendency to turn their dislike for what they see on the football pitch and turn it into a personal matter. So I was just trying to show that that's not what I'm doing.
No, exactly. At the top, to top it off, the club do a Luke Shaw post. Yeah, again,
11 years. Oh gosh.
That for me is something where I'm like, that I don't think the club should cut corners and overpay or undersell players to appease the fans. As Lou said, she said it probably the best I've ever seen a fan say on a fan channel. We're allowed to be immature, but she doesn't want the club to copy. And that's correct. Equally, read the fucking room. Have you ever watched The Office, the proper one, the English one?
No.
There's a wonderful scene. There's risk of redundancy, and everyone is in the office is scared they're going to be made redundant. And the regional director comes in to see David Brent, Ricky Gervais's character, and says, look, I've got some good news and bad news. You're becoming the new area manager, which is a massive pay rise, but it means this branch will shut down and you'll manage, and some of your staff will be redundant. The rest of them will have to go to the other branch, which is in Swindon, which is like 20 or 30 minutes away, but people will lose their jobs and you're going to manage more. And he's obviously excited because he gets it. He got voted in by 70% of the board, and he's like, this is great. And then she leaves, and then all the staff come and gather around his office, and he comes out. And they're like, well, what's happened? Are we losing our jobs? And he says, there's good news and bad news. And he says, some of you will lose your jobs. Tells them they're going to be redundant. Oh, no. And then he goes, and the good news, I just got promoted, right? And it's awful. And this is about David Brent was actually he was just so desperate to be liked, but he had terrible emotional intelligence, a terrible ability to read the room. He didn't know when to say things and when not to say things.
You reckon that's what Jason Wilcox did to all the staff that got made redundant? I'll get a promotion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's exactly it. So United fans are feeling it right now. It's one of those things where I get when you're promoting brands or products or shirts, you're obliged to do it, but you didn't need to post that today. That's where you go, do you know what? If there is, maybe if we'd signed him, maybe if we got the Here We Go today, then you post it, because then fans wouldn't care. So there is an element of reading the room there. Staffy here says, you're not allowed to complain. Terry, you're positive, remember. The difference is, though, Staffy, is that I don't complain about things that are strange. So I saw you moan about we spent months negotiating with Wolves and we ended up paying the asking price. We were always going to pay the release clause, but what we managed to do is convince them to not make us pay £62.5 million cash up front, and we've got it installments over 5 years, which wasn't in his agreement. So what we spent the time doing was structuring it so that we didn't have to outlay £62.5 million up front. So when you tweet angry at the clubs and we spoke to them for months and did nothing, that isn't true. So do you get the difference there? I don't like what they did because they're not reading the room. You've moaned about something that United did badly, which was actually a positive. We managed to get it. So we're only paying, it works out £12 or so million a year for the player, rather than paying the whole £62.5 million lump sum up front.
You're going back to his point.
There we go. You know what I mean? So that's what I have. Again, me and Staffy are boys. Like we're good friends. We haven't met face to face yet. We're really good friends, and that's when I get annoyed when I go, hang on. It's like, listen, I need to have. I'm going to have this conversation with Mark on Tuesday, because I keep seeing Mark say that Brentford always wanted 60 million. They may have done, and he's probably read articles. But I've also seen it from the likes of Fabrizio that they wanted 70 million. So there's this part of me that's like, you know, you look at it and you're a little bit like, so I'm like, well, we're still getting him cheaper than the asking price, because the story I read that I believe from Fabrizio, Castle, the Times said 70 million. So if we get him for 55 plus, I'm like, we're getting him for 15 million below the asking price. Where some people went, no, it was 60. So sometimes it depends on what you read as well. And I think it's why it's important.
Yeah. Also, the Cunha deal is over 3 years, Terry. Not, we tried to get 5.
Was it okay? 3. Okay, well, I got that bit wrong. I remember somebody said it on camera that it works out at 12 at $1 million a month.
I think it was Kieran Maguire. He was saying, don't look at it as 20 million a year. I think it has like a
breakdown. Yeah, okay, over 3 years then. But yeah, that you can have hot. We'll share the toast, Staffy. We'll have half a slice each. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in tonight. We weren't actually planning on going live tonight, but then the news broke, which was amazing. This is going to redirect you to Hassam's channel, so go and support my brother over there. Also, I'd love you to go check out Terry Fluer's TV. Big video I dropped tonight, a massive opinion piece on some huge news regarding Eze. We're going to be doing a phone-in show for that tomorrow morning as well. But go and check that out. Plus, I'll give you I'll drop a big opinion on Gittins to Chelsea as well. So go to my personal channel, Terry Fluer's TV, either now or after you've gone and watched Hassam. That would be amazing if you could. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in the Football Terrace community. Big up the United stand as well. Until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.